Corey Maggette could make a box score. Looks like somebody had done the math wrong. It's January 18th, 2010, Martin Luther King Jr. Day at Oracle Arena. The Golden State Warriors are 11-27, and this is Warrior 43, the Corey Maggette episode. The Warriors have lost three straight. They've got 8 players in uniform. Excuse me. They've only got 8 players in uniform, and only four of them are established rotation guys. Devion George is still limited, so Don Nelson said he really has 7.5 players. Anthony Morrow's hurt, Ronnie Turiaf is hurt, CJ Watson is hurt, Anthony Randolph is hurt, Raja Bell and Brandon Wright have been gone for a while. 3 nights earlier, injuries and foul trouble left the Warriors with only 4 eligible players against Milwaukee. They're not just losing games, they're holding the roster together with duct tape. Chicago arrives 18-20 on a 4-game win streak. This is the first stop on the Bulls' 7-game ice show road trip. Based on the standings, this is supposed to be the easy one. For Golden State, this season's already become less about the standings and more about sorting through the wreckage. Monte Ellis is carrying an absurd workload. Steph Curry, he's a rookie trying to prove that his skinny frame and Davidson resume belong in the NBA. Corey Maggette's trying to prove he's not the problem. So what's the first thing you remember when you hear Corey Maggette's name? Is it the free throws? The big shoulders? The contract? Maggette was born in Melrose Park, Illinois, and raised in nearby Bellwood. At Fenwick High School, he was a 4-year varsity player who finished with 2,450 points and more than 1,000 rebounds. As a senior, he averaged 23 and 10, while leading Fenwick to its first state quarterfinal appearance. He was a McDonald's All-American. He made 3 parade All-American teams. At 6'6" and roughly 225 pounds, he already looked like an NBA wing in high school. Maggette spent 1 season at Duke. The 98-99 Blue Devils went 37-2. Yeah, before losing the national championship game to the Huskies, Connecticut. Maggette averaged 10.6 points off the bench, made the ACC All-Rookie team, and joined Elton Brand and William Avery in becoming the first players to leave Mike Krzyzewski's program early for the NBA. His Duke year later acquired an uncomfortable footnote. Maggette acknowledged accepting $2,000 from AAU coach Myron Piggy while he was still in high school. The NCAA eventually declined to punish Duke because it found the school hadn't known about the payment. Seattle drafted Maggette 13th overall in 1999 and immediately sent him to Orlando in a trade. After 1 season, the Magic moved him to the Clippers, and that's where he became Corey Maggette. Nicknamed Maximus, he lowered his shoulder, got downhill, and turned defenders into unwilling participants in a collision drill. He averaged 20.7 points, 20.03.04, a career-high 22.2 the next year, and during that season, he attempted 10 free throws a game and made 85%. There's always a trade-off. Maggette missed time. The ball, sometimes it stopped. His teams usually weren't good, and scorers on bad teams, sometimes they get treated like empty calorie snacks, no matter how efficiently they score. His only NBA playoff trip came with the 2006 Clippers. They beat Denver and pushed Phoenix to 7 games. Maggette scored 25 off the bench in Game 6 while shooting 7 of 8 from the floor. In 2008, he opted out of his Clippers contract and signed with Golden State for 5 years and $50 million. Baron Davis left the Warriors for the Clippers at almost the same exact moment. It wasn't technically a trade, but it felt like the two franchises had exchanged their headaches in a parking lot. Maggette averaged 18.6 points in his first Warrior season, but injuries limited him to 51 games. Fans saw the contract, the missed games, and the possessions that ended with his head down. By January 2010, something clicked. He stopped settling for long jumpers and recommitted to smashing his way into the paint. During one 10-game stretch, he averaged 23.1 points while shooting nearly 65%. So the night against Chicago isn't a random heater. It's the peak of his run. Golden State comes out flying and lead 33-25 after one quarter. Maggette scores from the post, on cuts, and at the rim. He even knocks down a couple of jumpers because once defenders start backing up for the collision, the jumper gets pretty comfortable for him. Excuse me. Foul trouble arrives pretty fast. Curry picks up 3 in the first quarter. Maggette and Andris Biedrins also get into trouble. That's scary when the bench resembles a group assembled through open tryouts. Chicago grinds its way back. Golden State, their early lead shrinks. For a while, it starts looking like the familiar Warrior story. Plenty of early juice, followed by an undermanned team remembering exactly how undermanned they really are. Maggette doesn't answer by hijacking the offense. He keeps cutting and making the extra pass and attacking when the opening is actually there. Golden State reaches halftime ahead 54-53. The Bulls take a 79-76 lead with 2 minutes remaining in the third quarter. The Warriors look tired. Chicago's got a full roster and should be able to lean on them until something breaks, right? Well, instead, Golden State closes the quarter on a 7-0 run. The Bulls push within 83-81 to open the fourth. Then Maggette starts connecting the dots. He finishes up a layup from Curry. He finds Cartier Martin for a 3, hits an 18-footer, then assists Monte on consecutive baskets. That matters because the knock on Maggette was never that he couldn't score. The knock was that his scoring existed in its own sealed container. In the stretch that decides this game, it doesn't. Golden State makes 9 of 11 shots and blows the game open. Curry's three-pointer with under 4 minutes remaining makes it 106-90, and the Warriors finish with a 114-97 victory. Maggette finishes with 32 points on 11 of 14 shooting. He had 6 rebounds and 5 helpers. 32 points on 14 shots. Feels like a scoring performance. Feels less like a scoring performance than a clerical error. And basketball usually asks a scorer to choose between abundance and restraint. You can have a lot of points, or you can leave enough possessions for everybody else. Maggette somehow does both here. Ellis takes 39 shots. Curry takes 18. Maggette gets his 32 without swallowing the game. It's almost an act of conservation. Maximus, maximum damage, minimum material. So what makes a scoring performance beautiful to you? Is it the moves, the difficulty, or simply refusing to waste things? Ellis scores 36, although takes 39 attempts. Curry supplies 26 points, 10 rebounds. Biedrins controls the paint with 19 boards and 8 blocks. Chicago shoots 36.5%. John Salmons leads the Bulls with 25, while Luol Deng, Prince Deng, gets 20, and Derrick Rose scores 19 on 7 of 19 shooting. Afterward, Nelson jokes that the Golden State D-Leaguers got a win. He also wonders whether any Warrior, aside from Wilt Chamberlain, has ever taken as many shots as Ellis did. The Chicago coverage focuses on a team that inexplicably ran out of gas against an opponent with almost zero bench. Rose said the Bulls came out sluggish and never recovered. Vinny Del Negro points to the lack of defensive intensity. Warriors coverage treats Maggette's performance as almost routine. One local recap asks readers to name 5 small forwards playing better basketball at that moment. And that's how hot he'd become. 2 weeks earlier, Nelson had called Maggette quite an anchor. Curry described him as a total team player who kept working through the pain, then reduced the whole thing to 2 words. That's Corey. Golden State doesn't launch a miracle playoff run from here. They finished 26-56 in Don Nelson's final season as a coach. Nelson does pass Lenny Wilkins for the league's career coaching wins record, and Curry finished his second Rookie of the Year voting before making the All-Rookie first team. Maggette plays 70 games and averages 19.8 points. He shoots a career-best 51.6% while posting a .615 true shooting percentage. The Warriors traded to Milwaukee that June. Chicago's road trip actually steadies after this mess. The Bulls finish 41-41, grab the 8th seed. Rose becomes their first All-Star since Michael Jordan, and Chicago takes 1 game from LeBron James and the Cavaliers before losing the opening round series in 5. Maggette lasts 3 more NBA seasons. He plays for Milwaukee, Charlotte, and Detroit before the Spurs waive him during training camp in 2013. So his final NBA ledger reads 13,198 points or 827 games. He averaged 16 points, 4.9 rebounds, and 2.1 assists across 14 seasons. For all that production, he appeared in only 12 playoff games, all of them in 2006. After retirement, he moved into Clippers television and college basketball coverage. In 2017, he joined the Big Three. Remember them? But he tore his Achilles in his very first game. He returned the next year, won league MVP, and scored 27 points while leading Power to the championship. In April 2026, Fenwick inducted him into its Hall of Fame. His number 50 had already been retired, and his basketball camps and Corey Cares Foundation continued his work with young athletes. So where do you land on Maggette now? Was he misunderstood, properly rated, or simply born a decade too early for people to appreciate ruthless efficiency? And who is actually the most important Warrior on this night? Maggette, Curry, or Biedrins? Next time, Warrior 33 hands the ball to Astro 68. And I know there's a lot of Astros truthers out there who are going to have a problem with this next episode. November 1st, 2019, George Springer, Game 7, Dodger Stadium, World Series. George Springer already homered in 3 straight games, and one more swing will finish one of the greatest World Series performances anybody's ever had. 2 innings in, Yu Darvish throws him a pitch that he can lift, and Springer doesn't miss. But that was Warrior 43, Corey Maggette. Thanks for joining me, and until next time, thanks for hanging out. Good night.